This is FilmBookCast.
FilmBookCast.
FilmBookCast, the official podcast of FilmBook. Get ready for the latest in film news, TV show news, and theatrical reviews. FilmBook's podcast starts now.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to FilmBookCast, the official podcast of FilmBook. My name is Chris Banks. If you are tuning in to FilmBookCast for the first time, first of all, welcome. And what I do on this podcast is discuss the latest film and TV show news. I also review an in-theater film and sometimes on streaming services. You can find more about FilmBookCast on film-book.com by using the search term FilmBookCast. You can also email us at podcast@film-book.com with FilmBookCast in the subject line.
Let's check out some movie trailers. Matt Damon stars in a new drama called Stillwater. It's coming out in theaters on July 30th. Matt Damon is an American oil rig roughneck from Oklahoma who travels overseas to visit his estranged daughter. In prison for a murder she claims she did not commit. Confronted with language barriers, cultural differences, and a complicated legal system, Bill builds a new life for himself in France as he makes it his personal mission to exonerate his daughter. Check out the trailer for Stillwater. It comes out in theaters July 30th. It honestly reminds me of a movie in the early 2000s. Great bicontinental drama starring Matt Damon. I'm excited about it. In more movie trailers comes the incredible true story starring Christoph Waltz. It's called Georgetown. The trailer just got released by Paramount. The movie was actually made in 2019, and Christoph Waltz actually directs this movie as well, so it's very exciting. Academy Award winner Christoph Waltz and Vanessa Redgrave and Annette Bening delivered outstanding performances in this thrilling true story filled with twists, turns, and political turmoil. Waltz stars as Ulrich Mott, an eccentric and smooth-talking social climber who seems to have everyone in Washington, D.C. wrapped around his finger. But when his wealthy, well-connected, and much older wife turns up dead in their home, her daughter suspects Ulrich may not be all that he seems as a police investigation begins to uncover a large deception that goes far deeper than anyone imagined. Watch the trailer for Georgetown. It will be released in theaters on May 14th and on digital May 18th. Following along with film trailers comes a really gritty and heartfelt tale from IFC Films. The film is titled Holler, and it stars Nicole Riegel, as well as many others. Heller's plot synopsis is in a forgotten pocket of southern Ohio, where American manufacturing and opportunities are drying up. A determined young woman finds a ticket out when she's accepted to college. Alongside her older brother, Ruth Avery joins a dangerous scrap metal crew in order to pay her way. Together, they spend one brutal winter working the scrap yards during the day and stealing valuable metal from the once thriving factories at night. With her goal in sight, Ruth finds that the ultimate cost for an education for a girl like her may be more than she bargained for, and she soon finds herself torn between a promising future and the family she would leave behind. Check out Holler. It'll be released in theaters on June 11th. One more film trailer this week caught my eye, and it's the Forever Purge. Set after the events of the election year and will center on Adela and Juan, will find solace at a Texas ranch having fled a drug cartel in Mexico. But things go awry when a group of outsiders decide to keep purging beyond the allotted time when people can break any and all laws. Watch the Forever Purge trailer. It will be released in theaters July 2nd, and it looks crazy. Let's check out some TV trailers now. An all-new trailer for Law & Order Organized Crime Episode 6 has been released. It's titled I Got This Rat, and it shows a preview of a pretty meaningful conversation that's going to take place within the Law & Order universe. Check out the trailer. It'll be on NBC this Thursday. In more TV trailers, Love, Death, and Robots Season 2 returns to Netflix this week. Love, Death, and Robots Season 2's plot synopsis is Do You Realize What You're Doing Is Illegal? The animated series consists of standalone episodes all under 17 minutes long and produced by different casts and crews, though some episodes may share certain crew members. The series title refers to each episode's thematic connection to the three aforementioned subjects, though not every episode contains all three elements. Watch the Love, Death, and Robots Season 2 trailer. It just premiered on Netflix yesterday. Following along this week in TV trailers, Julianne Moore discovers the source of Clive Owen's imagination in Stephen King's 2021 adaptation called Lizarie's Story. The Lizarie's Story stars Julianne Moore, Joan Allen, among many others. It's based on the book by Stephen King, and Lizzie's story is a deeply personal, pensive thriller that follows Lindsay Landon, played by Moore, 2 years after the death of her husband, famous novelist Scott Landon. played by Owen. A series of unsettling events causes Lizzie to face memories of her marriage to Scott that she was desperately blocking out of her mind. Watch the Lizzie's Story trailer. It'll debut on Apple TV Plus on June 4th. Now let's switch up gears and check out some movie news. Henry Golden has been cast in Netflix's new Jane Austen adaptation film called Persuasion. Henry Golden of Crazy Rich Asians has joined the cast of the Netflix Jane Austen adaptation of Persuasion. Carrie Cracknell, who has never directed a film before, is directing the movie. She is known for directing the play Seawall, A Life, which featured Jake Gyllenhaal. Many are looking forward to how she does with the latest adaptation of Persuasion. In more movie news, Disney's Jungle Cruise will be released in theaters and streaming this July. Dwayne Johnson and Emily Blunt's 2021 Disney movie will be released simultaneously on July 30th, 2021. Inspired by the famous Disneyland theme park ride, Disney's Jungle Cruise is an adventure-filled Amazon jungle expedition starring Dwayne Johnson as the charismatic riverboat captain and Emily Blunt as the determined explorer on a research mission. Interesting news coming from Disney. That's it for movie news. Let's switch gears and head on over to some TV show news. In TV news this week, Kiefer Sutherland is set to star in Espionage drama TV series for Paramount+. Sutherland has been cast as James Weir, a private espionage operative in the midst of a battle over the preservation of democracy at a world at odds with misinformation, behavioral manipulation, the surveillance state, and the interests that control these extraordinary powers. The TV series from Paramount Plus currently has no title or premiere date, but some very exciting news coming from Paramount Plus. The network is really expanding and coming out with really good offerings, I think. In some more TV news, some sad news for fans of NBC's This Is Us, because the family drama series will be ending after season 6. The announcement was broke on Twitter this week, and the series follows the lives of Kevin, Kate, and Randall and their parents Jack and Rebecca. It took place mainly in the present and uses flashbacks to the show's family past. It's a very popular series, and I'm sure that fans won't be happy to learn this news. So some very sad news coming from NBC for This Is Us fans. And let's just keep up the theme of depressing TV news, because fans of Prodigal Son will be sad to learn that Fox will be canceling the TV series after just 2 seasons. Fox's decision not to renew Prodigal Son for a 3rd season was because Prodigal Son was a true bubble show. It was the last Fox drama to get renewal last year, which didn't come until after the show's upfronts, and it came down to the wire again for the serial killer show. However, there may be a path to bring the series back with various scenarios explored. So not all sad news for fans of Prodigal Son. Not so good news coming from Fox this week. Alright, enough sad entertainment news. Let's head on over to this week's movie review. What do you say? For this week's movie review, we're going to check out Those Who Wish Me Dead. It just came out in theaters yesterday, and it's also on HBO Max, actually, if you want to see it at home. It's directed by Taylor Sheridan. The screenplay is by Michael Courtia and Charles Levitt. It stars Angelina Jolie, Nicholas Hoult, and Finn Little. It's about a teenage murder witness who finds himself pursued by twin assassins in the Montana wilderness, with a survival expert tasked with protecting him, and a forest fire threatening to consume them all. The synopsis is very simplistic for what the movie is. The movie starts out, we knew it was an adrenaline rush going into the film, right? But the opening is a very exciting opening. We get a sense of what this group of people are. They're fighting fires, right? They're a little bit adventurous or rowdy. They're a little crazy. But then we get introduced to the stern sheriff, played by Jon Bernthal. His name is Ethan, and you can tell he is the boss of the town as the sheriff. But these group of people that Angelina Jolie are a part of are firefighters. They fight wildfires. We get a sense very early on that Angelina Jolie's character is tormented by these tough memories of traumatic near-death experiences. And then we get juxtaposed really quickly and introduced to a father and son, and you can see the dynamic between the two is a very good one. The father's a great dad, the son loves his dad, but unfortunately we get introduced to these assassins, and we don't really know where they come from, what they're doing, why they're there, but we just know that they're killing people. And this father witnesses something that he shouldn't, and now him and his son are on the run from these two people. The father has information that would endanger a lot of powerful people, politicians, people in law enforcement. I'm guessing that that's why the assassins are chasing this father and son. Unfortunately, something happens, right? I'm not going to give it away, but the boy finds himself being by himself and hunted almost by these assassins. And the theme of trust and strength and friendship is repeated throughout the film, I think, in different ways. But we get dropped into a little boy needing to trust a complete stranger in the world very early on in the movie. And I think that it's a very touching kind of off-ramp to the adrenaline-filled drama that the film is, because there's real moments of extension and also of reception of trust and friendship and love and strength and fear, because that's Angelina Jolie's character has very bad memories of fighting fires, and so she's really wrapped in this trauma that she's experienced her whole life. And then she comes across this little boy who just experienced tremendous trauma. We learn in the movie that he's also experienced other great, meaningful trauma. So two characters wrapped in trauma meet in a moment of... It's definitely an inflection point in the storyline. It's a great way to introduce those two characters because they're totally opposite, yet they share so much in common. And you can see this very early on in how they talk to one another. I think they kind of find a bond in their trauma very early on, which is a theme that you'll find as a common theme between our humanity as people. We connect over trauma very easily as individuals. And that's why the themes of trust and strength and friendship are really introduced and built upon with every interaction throughout the film. I mean, there's a great and hidden dynamic between the sheriff, played by Jon Bernthal, and his wife, Allison, played by Medina Senghor. Their love is so tremendous, the sheriff and his wife. They also are two completely different people, but you can tell that their love is connecting and makes them both stronger. And you'll see the dynamic of what happens between them in the film, and it's heartbreaking to see what happens to them. But the boy and Angelina Jolie have to make it out, right? Because these assassins are hunting them down, and these assassins are ruthless, and you'll see in the movie what they do. Brutal. So they have to survive. It's definitely an adrenaline-filled, action-packed, suspenseful movie. It's a good movie. It's a good escape for us right now, I think. It's perfectly timed. I'm not going to spoil the movie, but what comes out of this traumatic, fear-filled encounter is actually a beautiful friendship between a little boy and a grown woman. And it's a really cool movie. I think it's better than it's being reviewed as. I think it could have been better. I think Taylor did a really good job at directing everything that was going on. There's times that it is a little flat, that they could have done more with Angelina Jolie's character, I think. I feel like it's been a while since we've seen her in an action capacity, so maybe she's just rusty. But I think there could have been more done there. Finn Little plays the little boy, and he's absolutely amazing. Tremendous job by Finn Little, and really everyone on the cast. There's something about Angelina's performance that left me wanting more. I'm not sure what that is. I'm not sure if it's the writing. I'm not sure if it's just her rust. I'm not sure if it's the Taylor. But I think Those Who Wish Me Dead is a good movie. It's a good movie to go back to the movies to. It's not that long. It's actually pretty short. I think it's under an hour and 40 minutes, which is, in my opinion, pretty short film. The wildfire dynamic adds a lot of suspense and added drama, which is great. Tyler Perry's in the movie randomly. He does a great job. The assassins are really good. Everyone does a good movie. I just think that Angelina Jolie's performance left me wanting more. But again, I don't know why that is. But I would give Those Who Wish Me Dead a 7 out of 10. The theater adds to the experience, so if you see it in a theater, it'd probably be an 8 out of 10. Because it's a great ride. It's if you want a suspenseful, adrenaline-filled action film, then you have one. And it's perfect timing with not needing to wear masks anymore if you're vaccinated. So get out there and enjoy this movie in the theater with other people. I had a great time watching it. I hope you like it as much as I did.
Thank you for listening to this episode of FilmBookCast. You can find more of my work on film-book.com. Just search for Chris Banks or FilmBookCast. You can also find me on Twitter. I'm at CBanksy, that's S-E-E, Banksy. And I'm on Instagram. I'm at the Chris Banks. If you listen to this podcast on iTunes or another podcast service, please rate and review this episode. If you're listening to this podcast on our YouTube channel, FilmBook Podcast, please like our video, subscribe to our channel, or leave us a comment in the comment section. It helps other people discover our podcast. Please also consider becoming one of our patrons on Patreon at patreon.com/filmbook. Your support helps us create more engaging content. You'll find our Patreon link below in the description. If you want to tweet about this podcast, just use the hashtag FilmBookCast. Tune in next week for the next episode of the FilmBookCast. Thanks for listening, everyone. We'll see you then.